The settlement agreement signed a decade ago with the survivors of Indian residential schools offered compensation to former students who lost jobs as a result of the trauma they suffered as children. But fewer than 20 people have ever successfully claimed that money. As the independent assessment process, IAP, created to compensate those who survived physical, sexual or emotional abuse at the schools winds down, some people question whether those who were scarred by their experiences at the church-run institutions have been treated fairly. Former students making an income loss claim under the IAP were invited to choose one of two tracks. The consequential loss of opportunity, CLO, track required no supporting documents to prove harms. The actual income loss, AIL, track involved more invasive questioning and a higher burden of proof that a survivor's inability to retain employment could be attributed to abuse at the schools. Story continues below advertisement. A successful AIL claim could add as much as $250,000 to the basic compensation payout, which averaged $91,713. Numbers provided this week to the Globe and Mail by the Adjudication Secretariat of the IAP show just 18 of the more than 38,000 people who say they were abused at the schools have successfully claimed for actual income loss. Most survivors went straight to lawyers to make their claims, but some used form-filling companies that were started to help survivors with the compensation process. A Winnipeg man whose family ran such a firm says the number of successful AIL claims was so small because it was easier for lawyers and cheaper for the government when survivors did not press for the larger amount. The lawyers were the ones who benefited more than the survivors by going for a quicker but smaller claim, William Aitken said. He also says the IAP Secretariat told his firm it was filing too many claims for loss of income. Phil Fontaine, the former chief of the Assembly of First Nations who was instrumental in obtaining the settlement agreement, said he does not understand why obstacles were placed in the way of survivors who wanted to claim for lost income. It is pretty clear that this was one of the outcomes of abuse, and we anticipated that there would be a significant number of those applying under the IAP for actual income loss, Mr. Fontaine said in an interview. Story continues below advertisement. Story continues below advertisement. David Patterson, a Vancouver lawyer who sat on the subcommittee of the IAP Oversight Committee that determined what was intended by the income loss provision of the settlement agreement, said the adjudicators have interpreted that provision very, very narrowly. Kathleen Mahoney, a law professor at the University of Calgary who helped draft the settlement and has worked for survivors making claims, said applying to the AIL track was quite a steep hill to climb. The survivors would have to prove that a link between their inability to hold a job and the abuse was probable, not just plausible, and the adjudicators would apply the same standards of proof as a court of law, Prof. Mahoney said.